What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I just watched the Fantastic Four First Steps, and I did get the popcorn buckets, as you can see. Yes, Galactus is giant. This is him next to my head. Yes, the whole thing fills up with popcorn. It's actually a very giant popcorn bucket. I think it's the biggest one of all time, I believe. And the Herbie one is insanely cool. You put drink in his head, and there's even a it projects like the Fantastic Four symbol. Come on, I can do it. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. The movie, though, you know, I watched a lot of reviews about people who saw it at the premiere earlier, saw the screenings or something like that. And one thing that you hear a lot is that the movie is visually amazing, and it freaking is. It really is. The movie is stunning in a lot of different ways, which is really cool. It is kind of like they were saying with Superman. It does feel like a comic book come to life, which is really cool to see. But when you see this movie, I think there's going to be a very particular sequence that stands out for a lot of people. And that is when, basically starting from when the Silver Surfer comes to Earth to warn or to declare that Galactus is coming. Once that scene starts, you're like, oh, here we go. And once they go into space and, you know, Galactus and everything like that, you're like, oh my gosh, like edge of your seat. And I will say the score, the music, the scoring is just insanely good. It's great. It's fantastic. Say that again. It really is. And that, I say that because it really does build upon that suspense when the Fantastic Four are discovering about Galactus, when they're going to see what he's about, when they're discovering he's devoured planets. Yes, we have been warned that Galactus is coming to devour our world. And then they discover, oh, it's not just like an empty threat. It's real. Galactus can do this. The Silver Surfer is a force to be reckoned with. Galactus is a force beyond all comparison. And it's really cool to kind of see the Fantastic Four go back to Earth and be like, what do we do? Besides giving up our son, right? Because they were, no spoilers in this, but they revealed that in the trailers. Galactus wants their son. He wants Franklin. The scene, basically what I'll dub as the space moment, the space era of the movie. Amazing. Visually just incredible. I heard somebody say it might be the best visual scenes that Marvel's ever delivered, and I think about it and I'm like, yeah, it might be. You know, there's obviously a lot to go through, but it all looks incredibly real. The whole space sequence, it really does. Galactus, whoo, he's epic. He's really epic. I love seeing him on screen. Ralph Ensign is just amazing. The voice is chilling. The threat of him, you feel. His size, you feel. But when he comes to Earth, I feel like he shrunk, but they didn't show it. I'm not actually sure if he shrinks. He does seem like, I would say the Fantastic Four feel a little like bigger compared to his size when he is on Earth, right? Which I guess would make it to where he's smaller. He feels smaller. But when they first encounter him, you're like, holy crap, Galactus is freaking huge. And he is a giant space god. And it's like the Fantastic Four stand no chance, right? That's a great feeling to feel for a villain. So the beginning of the film, I just had a smile on my face the entire time. It's a very like feel good time in the beginning, right? It's like you're being introduced to them, you're getting a little bit about their backstory, you're seeing the dynamic between Reed and Sue, you know, you talk about the baby and everything like that, and I just felt joy is how I felt watching it. And so that's really good, like, build. It's like you start the movie, you're like, okay, cool, Fantastic Four, please be good. You get into it, you're like, oh, this feels awesome, this looks awesome. Then you go into the Silver Surfer arriving in that whole space scene, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And then I will say you get into a moment that's a bit of a lull, but doesn't make you bored. It was to the point, though, where I was like, okay, let's go. Like, I get it. But it also depends on how you view moments like that, right? Like, I can appreciate good dialogue. a good plot. I appreciate what they were doing. But by the end, I was like, okay, let's move. Let's get it going. And then they do. So I don't think they sit in that for too long. And I think it is important showing what they're doing, because it's basically like, Reed, the smartest man alive. You see that he struggles with emotions, which, yeah, that's Reed Richards. And just real quick, when you watch it, you'll see the cast did an amazing job. They really did. They did an amazing job. I really wish this movie was longer, because I felt like I would enjoy just more of seeing the family interact in like a fun type of way, in a non our world is about to die way, right? Like, it's because in the beginning, again, when you're seeing them interact, it's really fun. It's just happy. You feel good. You really do. And then at the end, so beginning, this is how I describe the movie. Like in my head, as I was driving home, I just got home recording this. The beginning is very happy and joyous. It's very cool. It's very fun to see a comic book come to life. Then it gets really like, ooh, edge of your seat, right? Edge of your seat. Silver Surfer's here. They're going to see what they can do. And it's like in that scene that they showed in one of the, I don't know if it was a trailer or if it was, like a clip, but they're like, how did you defeat Galactus? And he's like, Reed's like, defeated? We didn't. Yeah. And after that, you're like, yeah, how are the Fantastic Four going to defeat Galactus? Like, how could you possibly defeat this giant space cosmic god? And it's cool because they think that. They're like, how can we do that? Besides giving up our son. And then you see the idea spark. And it's kind of cool how the idea sparks, because it plays into the dynamic of family once again, which I do think is a really cool, just a really happy and joyous part of this movie. And then when Galactus finally does come and they fight him, visually it does look really good. It looks really good. And it's cool how it wraps up. It is visually a stunning movie, but at the end I felt like I wanted a little bit more from the final scene. I felt like it could have been longer. Like, I think this movie comes in just shy of 2 hours. I feel like if maybe we had 2 hours and 15 minutes and it had a little bit more room to breathe, it would have made it a little bit better. But overall, I think a lot of people are going to go into this and say it looked amazing. I personally thought it was funny and heartfelt. A lot of heartfelt moments. And overall, I think the quality of this movie, this is one of the biggest parts. The quality of this movie was pretty top notch. And I wrote down just a few notes on my phone on the way home. And this is what I will say for the people who are curious about this. It's not woke, right? You've seen a lot of the rage bait videos, I'm sure, at least the titles and thumbnails and stuff. There's no gender politics involved. All that stuff you've been hearing, none of that. No, it doesn't feel like there's an agenda at all with this movie, right? It's about the Fantastic Four, the Silver Surfer, and Galactus. And they are the best parts of this movie. As it should be. That's about them. And they did a fantastic job with the characters. The whole cast did an amazing job. They did a great job of making Galactus feel like he is a threat, really. And the CGI looks incredible, except for when it comes to the baby. Well, it almost reminded me of like the Twilight baby times. I don't know if it's just really hard to CGI a baby, because sometimes you can, like, you obviously know, like, hey, they're using a real baby here. It's like, cool. But then sometimes you're like, okay, that's like very much a CGI baby, but it didn't take me out of the film. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like, okay, very obviously you're not going to show like just an infant child being born right away, right? Like, yeah, I'm sure you can find some movies that might do that, but in this instance, there's some things where you're like, yes, you have to CGI that because you're not doing that with like a real baby, and you get it, but it doesn't take away from the movie. Like, I remember watching Brave New World and I'm like, a CGI right there is terrible. And like, that is very clearly green screen. For the most part, I never felt that with this movie, except for the baby. You can tell sometimes, like, yeah, that's CGI, and maybe not like the best CGI, but it's so funny because the rest of like everything looks amazing. And you can tell how the practicality of the set was used and looks really good. Like, everything looks amazing. I just wish it was longer, and I wish the final battle was a little bit bigger. Like, to me, the best part is when they're in space. And when Galactus comes on Earth in the final battle, it is pretty epic. I just wish it would have been just a tiny bit bigger. So it's hard for me to rate things. I hate using a number scale, but I know that's what people want. To me, it's probably like an 8.5 out of 10. I feel like that's a good representation about how I feel about this movie. I did love the movie, but at the end, I just wanted just a little bit more. Maybe, I felt like we could have benefited from like 15 more minutes for this movie. But overall, wow. I think the quality of this movie is something that Marvel really needed. Like, this is top quality. This is how movies should look, except for the CGI baby. So I think a lot of people are going to be very pleased with this movie. I really do. And I walked away with a smile on my face, feeling happy, feeling satisfied. And I just feel like this was a comic book come to life, and the cast was amazing. The story was great. There was that one lull moment, and I could have done with a little bit more from the big fight scene at the end, just made it longer a little bit. But besides that, what a great movie. What a great time. So that's my thoughts on the Fantastic Four First Steps. Have you seen it? If you have, what are your thoughts? If not, go see it, and we'll do a spoiler talk discussion pretty soon. So thanks for clicking on this video. If you liked it, you want more Marvel content, be sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Woof woof.